Copco, Sandvik Asia, Tata Technologies, Harbinger Group, Mobisoft Infotech, to name a few, as well as B2C brands like Nirlep, Mother's Recipe, Amnora Parktown, Ranka Jewelers, Gifting Nest, etc. She believes that advertising is an art and a science, both. She has helped business go through effective Marcom.
What do you think is, what is it that I'm really trying to say here? Anyone? Zelda? Okay, no, no, not strategy. Sorry? No. Okay, so while we were talking about email automation and maybe strategies all through the day, the entire content of my presentation is going to be focused on how to make your email automation sizzle through content. What I've seen across my experience with different brands across B2B and B2C is the fact that we tend to turn a Nelson's eye to content. Now when I say content, what I'm going to deal with is, see, Ranjit has spoken quite a bit about content in his presentation, and I know there may be a few others who understand the value of content, but I'm going to try and cover at least a bit about how do you really craft content. When we say personalization, I want to go beyond the personalization of the name in an email. I want to go beyond when we say that in the content of my email, I want to make the reader know that I know him a little more better than his name. But what does it exactly mean? So although this would have been a great title and subject for a workshop, interactive workshop, Gagandeep is waiting with a placard. So I would still like to take you through the entire presentation to make you understand how do you craft this content as much as possible. So why does content need to be personalized? Two reasons. One is because the statistics, I don't think we have to go through them, we've gone through them during the day. The main thing is that we all like to believe we are special. Each one of us is unique, just like the other. So there is a contradiction, a paradox there. But yes, the moment I get something for me, I still would like to believe that it is specially crafted for me. How much ever I know, being in the marketing field, that this is not possible because of scale, I would still like to believe I feel good. So these are the stats. I am not going over them again. Even we've also heard about the average attention span, and we've also perhaps read a bit of stats here where we say that we get about 100 mails in a day typically, and 43% of people delete or stop reading the mail after a few sentences. Again, we have debated to some extent about the value of a text-only mail and the mail with visuals or video content. I would still like to conclude here when we are debating between text-only and video or visual content that there needs to be a balance. It is always decided on what brand, what is the life cycle of the brand, what is the buyer journey that we are talking about before we decide, and the objective of the email campaign, before we decide whether we should go for text-only mails or should we go for a mix of both visuals. So conclusion is content needs to be personalized. Okay. What I call as the personalization of the content is, or the email is, the humanization. See, to me, automation is a lot of tech, a lot of machines, you know. Frankly speaking, sometimes it puts me off. The kind of data analysis that we keep doing, itna open rate, click rate, what is all this? Yeah, there are still humans sitting there. Have we even mined the data to an extent where I think, what is it that the reader would like to read? can I club the readers together, which is what we call as profiling, which is what we talk about as buyer personas. What is it that I would like to read? What is it that I would like to see? What are the words that will make me open the email? Have I given my subject lines a deeper thought? I have worked with a team where young writers craft subject lines because they are supposed to craft subject lines, and when I say that this is not okay, typically they'll give you options. To me, even A and B is an option only. But have we focused on the words? What is it that makes me open the mail? So, let's just go back a bit. So, automation meets humanization. I would still call it humanization, and sparks will fly. So, there has to be a balance between automation and content, which is the personalization or the humanization. How do you do it? So, you need to actually study, spend time, work on understanding your customer. See, this may all sound like typical, a leaf out of an advertising or a Kotler book. It still works, which we don't do, which we just study here and go out and do the same things again. But we need to study the customer. What is it that makes him tick? What is the weird thing about him? What is the real problem he's facing that I'm trying to solve? Email is a vehicle. What is the real problem? I should know my customer very well to actually address his problems, his needs. That is when I'm going to hit on the right kind of content. So, we've learned about segmenting. We've learned about segmenting. People here have actually used it. Segmenting. Now, when you're doing the segmenting, I would also like to stress upon the fact that when you've identified your segments, try and identify certain problems for those segments. So, you've done a maybe gender-based, age-based, geography-based, but is there some more defining factor or some parameters there which can help you take it further to help you craft the right? The second point here, which is knowing if, when and how contacts engage with your mail, is behavioral targeting again, which coupled with the identification of the problems for those segments will help you take your emails further in the minds of your readers, which is extremely important. So, this is one extremely good technique for crafting content. Okay, we all know it, but we really don't use it. So, while we are doing writing content, this is fantastic, and it's still brief, so you can use it. So, what does brief stand for? B is for background, R is reason, I is information, E is end, and F is follow-up. Now, what is this about? Background. What have you spoken about recently? What is it that you have written? How have you connected? What is it that you have said? What action steps did you agree upon in your last conversation with your prospects? Reason. After you've done that initial blast or whatever the series, the second time, what is the reason why you're doing it now? What is the objective of your email? Your objective of the campaign will be written. I know that. But within a campaign, if you're looking at 15 emails and you're on your second email, what is the objective of your second email? It is important to break down your objectives within a campaign of emails. You cannot treat the 15 emails in one campaign in the same way, because you're not shooting them out at the same time, are you? You're not. Third, information. What is the new interesting information you have to share? Do you have any? And what questions did your prospect ask that you're following up on? So, in the sub points that you see under 3, there could be 2 areas which I'm giving you. Those are the hints that I'm giving you to write the content on. So, it could be some new information, or it could be a follow-up on the information that the reader has asked you in the earlier set of emails. Fourth is the E, that is the end. So what's your CTA? What's your ask? What is it that you want the person to do? How do you want your customer to respond? What should I do? What next steps do you and your prospect need to take to move the relationship forward? It may not be sales. Again, CTA is a lot of different things, which again going back to 2 is what you need to understand. In my 4th emailer, in a series of 15 emailers, what am I going to say as the CTA? What is it that I want my reader to do in the 4th emailer after he's read the 4th emailer, assuming he's read the 4th emailer? Follow up. What objections is your prospect likely to have? How will you respond to them? Have you thought about it? Objections can be a situation which is a conflict kind of situation. It can take you out of your comfort zone. Imagine the emails that you write maybe to your customers, to your boss, to people with whom you have a conflict. Is it easy to write such emails? It is not. So imagine this, the prospect, he is not still your customer or client. How are you going to handle his objections? What is the kind of language that you are going to use? Who is the person who is going to sit and actually craft content? Is the newly joined marketing executive or is the newly joined content writer going to shoot out such an email which is supposed to go out to the CEO of that company or a senior professional? No way. Because the new joinee cannot write such things. It's very simple. Unfortunately, she or he was born too late. She cannot connect with that CEO or the marketing manager, the senior person. So you need to have somebody who can understand that level, who can think at that level and write. Now here is an example. Extremely well written email. I will read it for you. So this is based on the brief. In this example, the sales representative who sells the project management software is emailing his point of contact at a design firm to set up a call with the person he is writing to, which is Apurva, and her immediate manager, who is the guy who is going to spend money, who is the decision maker. Okay? Hi Apurva, thanks for your time last week. It was great to learn more about how your agency handles project communication. I'd like to schedule a call with you and your manager Akash so we can dive a little deeper into how Project Management Inc. could fit into your current client relationship model. You mentioned that Akash has 2 concerns: streamlining communication on projects with multiple teams and transitioning all stakeholders over to a new tool. I have attached a blog post on strategies for keeping large teams on the same page and a case study from one of our largest clients who went through the same transition process. I can speak more to this on our call as well. Does next Thursday at 3 p.m. still work for you? I'll follow up with a calendar invite once I hear back from you. Best regards, Uday. Now what has Uday really done? He has addressed all the possible, he knows of Akash's concerns which he heard through Apurva. He's addressed them. He has backed them with a case study and a strategy through attachments in his mail. He's also ensured that he would like to have Akash on the call because he knows he's the guy who's going to make the decision maker. He's also communicated a suitable time. Look forward to hearing from you. Doesn't work because you're not going to hear from him or her. So he's handled it very well. He has preempted certain things there and addressed them beforehand, which means that without being pushy, he has ensured that he's taken the communication to the next level. Extremely important. So emails should sound more personal and unique. They should sound like they have been especially crafted for you. What you write, somebody said that it's like talking. I think Ranjit said that. It's like a conversation. What you write is equivalent to what you speak. Why write something that sounds like a machine? Write something that sounds as if it's a human being speaking. Don't parrot. So it's just a summing up I have done here. Decide on the objective of the email campaign. Campaign is a whole of small parts. Freeze the subtopics to be covered. Create a bank of topics for each of the emails within the campaign. Accordingly, plan the number of emails to be sent. Based on the number and the main objective of the campaign, you can decide the message or the objective for each of the emailers, and then you get down to the actual crafting. This is the most important thing. You cannot work on the crafting of the content as if you want to finish it off. You just cannot do that. You have to give it your love. Make it work. Work on it and make it work. You just cannot, okay, I've finished like 10 emailers. No way, doesn't work. So a few tricks of the trade for the actual crafting of the content. Focus on the subject line. Spend time on it. So these are a few things. Now these are extremely original. I have used the first one recently. Caught you sleeping on your LinkedIn page. This is the one I have used. Okay, I have, so I work on LinkedIn pages, so I don't call it management. I actually work on the LinkedIn pages of CEOs along with the company page to make things work for them through that channel. So that was a mail I wrote for that purpose. The subject line was this. The second one could be used for a life coach. I've been reading a book of Robin Sharma, so I just thought of mentioning this as an example. So make love, make food, have fun. You could have easily written eat, love, pray. Couldn't you have? You could have. Maybe it could have got you better clicks, better open rates, but it's still a movie. I mean, it's still a book and a movie. So it's not original. The third one is, we know you love your car more than you do your wife. This is true. This is an insight. Ask all the men here. This is a universal insight. It is proven. So this is going to work 100%. All the men here who own cars, please, yes or no? Yes. You don't have your wife sitting here, so please say yes, because it is true. Now, you also have to focus on the headline of the email, whether it is a text email or whether it is a designed email. The subject line and the headline have to be different, please. Now let me explain. So I've used the same examples. Caught you sleeping on your LinkedIn page. When was the last time you visited your LinkedIn page? Could be the headline. It still makes the person think. Make love, make food, have fun. Headline, we only live once. Make it the best living you'd ever do. Third, because we know you love your car more than you do your wife. How to love your car and your wife both at the same time. And maybe you shoot out this mail to the wife as well. So, makes her feel better. This may seem like a leaf out of a school book, but extremely important. This is exactly what we tend to ignore. So, a lot of things here, but some of the main things is, do a check at least 5 times. So, Ogilvy has said 32 times for a copy, for a press ad, because you spend some lakhs of rupees in a press ad. But here, please at least do it 5 times, 5 checks, proper. So initially you look at the flow, then the second one, you look at the syntax, third, grammar, spelling, again check whether everything is in line. Typos, grammar messes. UK, US English, synergies, at least within that email campaign. Is your message clear? Get someone to read it and ask him or her, what is it that you're getting from this message? What am I trying to say? Are you getting the same thing? Start, middle and end. Here the end is extremely important. Start also, because we've already discussed the subject line. Headline and visual should be in alignment. So it shouldn't be A for apple. That is, what the headline is saying should not be exactly what the visual is showing, but it still has to be in alignment. And it has to be a nicely edited, tight, crisp. Even if it's text, it can't be long. It has to be short, and short doesn't mean 4 lines. It could be about 10 lines also, because you need that kind of stuff to communicate what you're trying to say. TOV is more important than your POV. What's TOV? Urja. TOV, what's TOV? What's POV? Point of. What's TOV? Tone of voice. Typically, based on writing styles, I have also seen that there are certain people who have to talk top down, like patronizing. Whoever the buyer, whatever is the life cycle, whatever your product, whatever the objective of your solution, promotion, email campaign, the tone of voice stays. Doesn't work. Please change it. How many of you have heard about transactional analysis? Do we recommend I'm okay, you're okay? Book? Parent, adult, child. You don't have to be a parent to talk like a parent. Whenever you need, it's a situational analysis. So all I'm trying to say is use the tone of voice that is important at that time to befriend the reader. Doesn't matter whatever your age is, what is your talking, writing style, doesn't matter. You have to befriend, make the reader comfortable. And comfortable doesn't mean that if you're at a 50, you start behaving like a stupid, I'm sorry, but I'm, like a stupid 18-year-old. I'm not saying 18-year-olds are stupid, but then when a 50-year-old starts behaving like an 18-year-old, it definitely does look stupid. So it should depend on the brand persona, the brand life cycle stage. Who is talking, who are you talking to, what is the context, what is the message, and what is the response you seek. So the tone of voice is very, very important. Okay. So the current, Smita, Naresh, correct me if I'm wrong, but the general observation is that salesy kind of tone of voice, promotional, pushy tone of voice in every email is out. And a helpful tone of voice is in. Even if I have a CTA that says buy now, the way I say it should be helpful, which I call as what you call as lead nurturing. So you're nurturing the lead. Some people call it as lead farming. So the tone of voice should be helpful. So ultimately I know that I'm, or you know that I'm here to sell, but that shouldn't be my objective in the first set of emailers. So it should be, I should pan it out across a campaign of whatever emailers I decide is the right number for this. So for Asian Paints, if they look at it where it's a high involvement category, it will be a longer. She talked about, is Hari here? No. Yeah. So he spoke about the lifetime value. Now, how do you spread an email campaign across a lifetime? He also gave us some examples, but he was talking about year 1, year 2. Obviously, we won't have one emailer per year, right? So that is important. So helpful is in. So advertising geese should be avoided. That's the advertising kind of language, the kind of language that we see in print ads, TV commercial, pack, 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 bye, bye, yeah. It's like, please avoid it. Be very, very helpful. So give him time, give the buyer time to soak in what you're trying to say. Take him through a series of touch points, communication, and then let him decide. That's also called as value. If he believes that you are adding value, he will definitely consider you. Now, there's a sample I want to read. Does anyone know of Jeff Bullas here? Yeah, please subscribe to his blog if you're interested in content. That's what I call as a helpful tone of voice, jeffbullas.com, JEFFBULLAS.com. So I have two mails from him. He writes text, clear text. So he says, hi Sonali, there are traditionally two, can you all read this? Is it legible? Just please go through this. Done? That's the second mail. It's not a series of mails. He talks about different things. He has about 2 mails in a week types if you subscribe to his blog. See, this is also that reserve your spot now kind of. There is a rush, hurry kind of syndrome, that thing here to this mail. But he's not said hurry, rush. Very helpful. Call to action, very important. All those who have ever been in sales, are in sales, will understand this. What is the importance of closing? You just give all your gyan about your product and just walk away from a meeting without telling the guy what he's supposed to do. Is he supposed to call you? Are you supposed to call him? Is he supposed to buy when there's an offer? What is he supposed to do? The same thing applies to every piece of marketing that we send out in the universe. Whether it's online, offline, whether it's a meeting, I walk out of a meeting and the person should understand what he's supposed to do next. So ask. I think even Ranjit had that ask in the end, which I also have that. It's extremely important. And ask what you want. I won't be able to read your mind, neither will you. I don't know you. We are dealing with too many numbers here. We are dealing with too many human beings, all of whom are unique and weird. And so am I. So thousands of weird people coming together, can you imagine the chaos? So just ask, just say what it is. It's very, very important. So yeah, that's it. So the whole intention was content. Please do not ignore content when you are working on all, all sorts of figures and analysis, and use it. Use that data to actually work on things that can connect, because this is one part that can connect to your leads, prospects, buyers, repeat buyers across a lifetime. Who are the content? Anyone in content? You are into creatives, right? The only one? Anyone else in content here? Yeah, please go ahead. So I'm done with my session. If you have any questions, please shoot.
As you said, this CLG thing is out and helpful, is it? And by now you can't put it on the obviously.
No, you can.
Pushy.
No, even if you write buy now.
Okay, buy now will be your CTA. But the way you build up to buy now need not be pushy. It's not statement, it's a paragraph. So you'll have to work on it. So I'll give you an example. You want to read the Jeff Bullas again? See, the second one is reserve your spot now. The rush here, the urgency is here also. But see the way he's built it up. He's saying, I just wanted to see if you got my email. So this is the second in that email. And the one I showed before is not the one before this. I showed you 2 different emails in different contexts, right? So he has sent me the first email which asks me to reserve my spot, which would have been even more, what you call it as nurturing kind of stuff. Okay. Then after that, because I didn't reserve my spot, he sent me another email. And he says that I just wanted to check whether you've got it. And he's saying he's just starting in a few. He's actually he's trying to convince me that if I have not reserved my spot, I'm going to be the loser. So in a simple thing, I think what we all will understand in various different contexts is that don't chase your buyer, let him chase you. So let him मतलब बैठो मत पैर वैर ऊपर करके, but it's like okay, this is, so he has to come to me because he finds value in whatever I have to offer to him. So that's the whole idea. Does that explain?
Do you have any suggestions on what we should write on the hyperlink?
Buy now is fine, absolutely
Fine. See, he is also saying reserve your spot now. You can say buy now, but the build up to buy now, your first 8 lines before the buy now cannot be pushy. So you might want to say that okay, 10,000 people have purchased this and are extremely happy with this, and here's what a couple of them have to say. Do that. Then say that, by the way, the offer expires in whatever. Would you like to avail of it? And then you give a quietly at the end, say buy now.
We have no content emails as well, just a visual, and then we say download your guide now. So
What does the visual say?
I think just a topic of the white paper that we have, maybe structure guide or whatever.
So आगे पीछे nothing.
Yes, a few campaigns we run
For the build-up?
Yeah.
What those email campaigns are talking about?
No,
The build up. No, the first
Email and the last email is just a visual and you say download now.
Yes, the first emails. The first.
Then there's a follow-up on
The
it.
follow email is
What does the follow-up email say?
details of the content in the white paper plus the
Do that
details.
first.
So initially and then
Obviously, very simple. Because
we
that
have
is what.
we have certain campaigns running in.
Yeah.
So we have our clients who give us the credit and they ask us to send. So we just need visual some kind of content and then we blast it.
Please work on that, whatever creative the client says.
Don't be a postman. So I think it's very important. I think if you just flip the priority, like you actually start the build up earlier and then you maybe in between, if you have say 5 emailers, you build up with 2, then you maybe introduce this thing, or even in those emailers you can probably, if it's a good visual, you can put that up and then you can build it up that way. But don't introduce it up without anything. What am I supposed to do with it? Is the first thing that I will ask. Download white paper. Why? What does it do for me? Where? On the visual. Okay. But I still feel that, what do you have to say? Anyone here who has a...
If you do the second mailer that you are sending, send it first and then send a visual, probably that will work much better.
And then again follow up with a combined kind of. It should be a combination, especially where it's a white paper. I think a combination works. And see, frankly speaking, I am of the opinion, and according to my experience
also, visuals work and all fine, yeah, but there are people, I mean, copy is dead and content. Do you really feel it's dead? We would have been dead. We are not. Absolutely living life to the hilt. So content works, like Naresh said. I mean, it's a white paper you got to read. Otherwise, don't read, then you're not the target audience. But the people for whom it matters are going to spend time reading.
See the real advantage of a not so well written or a not so well written copy as against a great copy, and you have some clear metrics that show the
I don't
results.
have it right now. Maybe you can share it. See, what has happened
Happened is unfortunately, probably the reason why content is being ignored is there is no clear metrics that you can actually come to a conclusion on for a particular campaign of emailers. It is over a period of time. It is also a part of what you call as branding. Not totally branding, but you know, the organic part where you kind of build up, where you talk about your product, where you're visible. It's value selling. Each piece may not be measured. So that's again a problem that we still face today, whether it's B2B. So even when you use LinkedIn, if you don't use paid ads on LinkedIn, you know, anything that's measurable, it's very difficult to measure. So the case studies that you read even on LinkedIn on the B2B part where thought leadership. So I have one case study from a user on LinkedIn which I'll share with you. Is the same. The kind of engagement that has happened has definitely increased. Those are the metrics that you have. But I have not seen whether it has really converted into sales. I think nothing converts into sales. But we definitely have a case study in one of the IT companies that we had based on one of the strategies. However, we can't conclude that that was the only reason why people really bought. The conversion may have happened because it was a complete, well thought of strategy where we hit from all sides. The only thing was that was probably the trigger which gave us some kind of results. Doesn't mean that all that we worked for in the initial build-up didn't have any kind of ROI. Yeah?
Now you talked about problem-based segmentation. Going back to your example that you talked about Apurva, that seems too personal where there was an interaction. Yes. Based on that, he's captured those problems and then he's drafted those emails. Right. But that cannot be generalized, can it?
Right. No, it cannot.
So problems are also, see, you can come up with problems based on research. So that's a typical, what you call as a marketing case study, where when you have some buyer personas, you know of certain problems that exist, right? I think on the way we were talking about something, what was it actually? I said that this is a problem that we need to address. There was some kind of specific case study. So these are problems that come up with during the interactions that the sales and the marketing staff comes up with during the interactions with the customers. So there are certain things that we come to know of. So there could be gaps, there could be really full-blown problems, or there could be, the gaps can be turned into opportunity areas. So those are based on a certain segment. Like for example, you could say that there is a geographical area that we are targeting, and in that we come across certain problem only for that area, which needs to be addressed in a different way. So the whole bunch of emails that's going out for that area needs to cover this problem. So it will still be templatized. But when I'm saying you're addressing a real problem, that works. That really works. For some products, it could be the pleasure angle. So there is a spectrum. On one end is the pain and on one end is pleasure. So are you trying to reduce the pain or are you trying to increase the pleasure, which depends on the need the product is trying to address. So whatever it is, what is the real pain? If you know that, then your solution is going to be real and it's going to connect. See, you can't sit in, typically what happens is, we sit in our ivory towers and expect that we know the problems. We may not know them. All I'm saying is, if we have this data in our hands, are we really mining it enough to be able to connect in a real way? See, connect is not just reaching out to her. Am I touching a chord in her? Somewhere am I making her feel that I'm trying to address a real need, a real problem by actually looking at it in a very real way. That's extremely important. Have I answered your? Yeah, so it's basically, see, I would urge you not to look at it from an email point of view.
Based segmentation, I get that. I think it's very interesting, something that I'm not using right now. But how do I personalize within that aspect?
So it's still a template. Okay, I'll just give you an example. Suppose this is
A group, okay, and you are what I call as a like-minded group. So you have similar problems. You may have 3 problems regarding a certain product. Let me say that you're staying in a particular geographical area and there is a water problem. I know I'm giving you very crystal clear problems that can be expressed, but that's the only way I can make you understand, okay? So if there is a water problem, all of you are facing that water problem, right? So if I'm going to write an email, or let's say a one piece of email where I'm going to address this problem and have a solution for that, then the way I'm going to write it may not be different for you, for her. So I'm going to write the same emailer which will go out to all of you, but the way I write it will touch a chord in you, in her, in everybody. So let's not make it sound impersonal, and it's not just the usage of the name that makes it personal, but the way you write. I'll have to, that's why I said that this is more of a, we should take a second session and make it a workshop, because then we'll be able to address your real problems, let's say for each group, and then we actually work on those emailers if we are working on emailers or content, and that will help you understand how this, so you take your product and make it work. Question.
So it's the kind of report I want to send it to emailers. So I just do a emailing. So it's an HTML format. So it's a kind of an NBFC, we are targeting them, BFSI clients and banks. Okay. So how does the content should be, it's representing to them, so they should buy a report for us.
So what do you write something and attach the report?
Yeah, yes.
What do you write?
It's a whole country we describe about the upcoming NBFC segments we are covering up and everything.
How does it help the reader? Why should I buy? Answer this question. Why should I buy your report? Can you
because
answer
we are
this
coming
question?
with the new segments over there.
So you are coming with the news. How is it going to help me? What is in it for me? Why should I
buy it? I may have the money. I also probably know that it's going to help me. But are you telling me how it's going to help me? Sorry, it doesn't work. The content should explain. So it should be like 5 lines saying that we've done this research especially for you, whatever. I really don't know the details. Yeah, and this has probably helped whoever your buyers were in certain ways which you could state. So for that you need to talk to your ex-buyers, earlier buyers, and find out. Just sitting won't help you, right? And say that so that there is a kind of credibility to that. And people who are your prospects will also understand how it has helped the other buyers. So part of it is that they will connect to it. They will feel that, oh, so this can help me in this way. And then the other parts is maybe 2 more points where you say that this can also help you in this way. So check out the report, give an excerpt of the report, and then make them buy it. So that's where the tease factor comes. You need to give a bit, yeah. You just need to give a bit. What is covered is always tempting. You leave a lot uncovered. But what is covered, if you know what I mean? Yeah? Isn't it? Think about it. Okay, thank you very much.